audience, and welcome back to Planet 98. My name is Dawson. His name is Justin.
Hello.
And today we are doing another movie review for the Spider-Man movie franchises. This one being the final one we need to watch to go see Spider-Man Homecoming, or the final one we want to watch to go see Spider-Man Homecoming. And that is The Amazing Spider-Man 2, starring, again, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, Jamie Foxx as Electro, Dan DeHaan as Green Goblin, and so on and so forth. In this movie, when New York City is put under siege by Oscorp, it is up to Spider-Man to save the city he swore to protect as well as his loved ones. Justin, as Spider-Man 3 is, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is also regarded as just a mess of a Spider-Man movie. Do you agree?
Not entirely. I had an enjoyable time watching this movie. I thought the story, for the most part, was pretty good. I thought Electro as a villain was pretty good. There are a few things I do disagree with what they did, but I also do understand some things why they did them, because they were definitely planning for a third movie that never came, just like the fourth one never came. So everybody keeps setting up for things that they don't have locked down, so they set up storylines that were not concluded, which sucks. I do not believe this movie needed a Green Goblin. I understand having it to set up for a next movie, but if they didn't have that locked down, then they should have just left it out. Like, having him just complicated things more than it helped. Like,
yeah, because when it comes down to it, the reason... See, this is why I agree and disagree with you. Sony... Andrew Garfield was already locked down for a third movie. They were already going into pre-production for The Amazing Spider-Man 3, but they did have, really disappointing reviews for Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
It was only when Sony and Marvel, the emails were leaked, talking about, a potential shared universe or a potential, being bought out or whatever it might be, for the rights for Spider-Man. And then people were like, holy shit, like, what's happening? So Andrew Garfield didn't really know, Emma Stone didn't really know, no one really knew what was happening until it was set in stone that Spider-Man was going back to Marvel Entertainment, and then it was said Andrew Garfield would no longer be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, basically until the deal was made, like set in stone 2 years ago, Amazing Spider-Man 3 was going to happen.
That is true.
No matter what. So, I mean, it was going to happen. It's just when the rights were given back to Marvel, Marvel was like, we're going to go in a different direction. We are going to go in a different direction with Spider-Man than the direction that you went with your Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So they fired Andrew Garfield and, moved on.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, continue.
Which, I mean, it's cool that Marvel has Spider-Man back because he's a great asset to have, especially with all the characters that they currently have in their roster. But I would love to see where they could have taken this for an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Because I feel like there was some potential there that is just now going to have no result to it, which kind of makes it feel a little empty. Because it's like, all these plans, like, for Sinister Six and all that they're building to, and it's like, and nothing. And it kind of sucks.
It does suck.
Like I said, Green Goblin wasn't the most necessary, but I do understand now why he was a part that probably wasn't going to be left out of this movie.
I think the character that really didn't need to be in it was Rhino.
That is true. They could have, had him in the beginning, but I understand why they had him at the end, kind of just, as a thing to push forward for that third movie. Yeah. But it's just, again, it's just that feeling of, God damn it. I hate when people set things up that they can't go through with. It really sucks.
if it was only like a cameo, like it was like such a small cameo at the beginning and the end of the film,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been fine. But they even pushed him to be like a cover art villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
almost like
that's real dumb.
it's like, but he wasn't. I mean, like with Spider-Man: Homecoming, we haven't seen it, so this isn't necessarily a spoiler from a person that's seen the movie. Scorpion's going to be in it, but his role in the movie is unknown.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's actually going to suit up, or if he's just going to be, he's just going to show up randomly, it's unknown. Shocker's also going to show up randomly. So like having villains in the movies isn't necessarily bad. Like having them cameo isn't bad, but turning them into more than they actually are, it's just kind of dumb because on the DVD and on the Blu-ray and all the stuff, Rhino is featured heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but like Rhino didn't really need to be there. I think Paul Giamatti, really good actor, very subpar Rhino.
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell that because we only saw him for a couple minutes. He could have been better given more time, but
I think when it comes down to his design with the fucking barbed wire forehead tattoo
mm-hmm.
and his really, 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 really bad Russian accent, I think they could have gave him a lot more time. But anyway, continuing with the story, what else are you thinking?
I thought the scenes with Electro looked pretty cool. Like, this is the best CGI has been so far because it's the newest one. So, I think he looked pretty cool. When I was watching it, I could not tell if it was Jamie Foxx or not. That's what I was leaning towards.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I was like, is it? Is it not? It looks like it kind of, but also because of how they made him look, like made him to like a whole like nerd perspective kind of look, and it's like, is it him or is it not? And yeah, I'm glad that it was because I enjoy him as a person. He is funny in movies.
You know that scene where they're in the power plant and he's making music with all the giant Transformers?
Yeah, he's basically doing dubstep.
Yeah, he composed that.
That's really cool.
He composed a song for the movie. But I don't know if actually, because I was waiting for it to come, because I was like, oh, this is the moment. Wait, no, it's not. Wait, this is oh, wait, no, it's not.
It is the song that played when he first fought Spider-Man. It was all about him hating Spider-Man.
I think that's like one of them, but I feel like he composed one that I know a few lyrics to it, but it's almost like a new Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Hmm.
Like the Itsy Bitsy Spider climbed right up the wall, then Electro came down and zapped him, like something like that, like something like it was like I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, continue.
And after that fight in the power plant, like everything felt like resolved until Green Goblin swept down. Like it all felt resolved basically. The story, like the main villain of the movie, was taken care of, and it felt like that would have been a good place to start wrapping things up. Of course, Green Goblin has to come down and fuck everything up.
Yeah.
He takes Gwen Stacy, and this is where I start disagreeing with things. I don't think they should have killed Gwen Stacy at all. Like, that seemed really dumb in my opinion. Like, I understand heroes are supposed to go through hardships and stuff, but, like, I would have liked to see a love story with a hero actually just work out. Because so far, we haven't really seen that in any of the Marvel movies, at least. Like, Gwyneth Paltrow left, and thus there's no more love story with Iron Man. Same with Natalie Portman. That one's gone. The closest thing we had is in Captain America. He has his his wife? Is that like her niece or something? And they have something going on now, but it's like there's no love stories that ever get concluded, and I kind of wanted to see that.
Sure.
So I just didn't enjoy seeing her get killed off, and even though her death was real quick, it felt so fucking brutal watching her drop so far, and you could just hear the thud as she hit the ground, and it's like, ugh, I did not enjoy that at all.
She didn't hit the ground.
She didn't? It felt like she did.
No.
It felt like she hit the ground and bounced back up.
See, when it comes to comic book fans and Spider-Man fans in general, we saw this coming a mile away.
I'm sure, but from an outside looking in perspective, I didn't.
The second you see her wearing the green trench coat and seeing her wear the purple and black shirt and dress, you know she's about to die.
Really?
Yes, because in the comic books, the Green Goblin kills Gwen Stacy.
I'm sure.
And what happens is, it's in a clock tower.
Mm-hmm. So
where
this
they
scene
were
was
at.
ripped straight from the comics?
Yes, and she falls, and Peter, right before she hits the ground, hits her with a web and snaps her neck.
Okay, yeah.
So right when I saw, when I first watched the movie, right when I saw that, I was like, they're about to fucking kill her. No, they're not gonna kill her. Cause I love her. I love Gwen. I love Gwen Stacy, and I love Emma Stone as her. But the second I saw that, I was like, they're gonna fucking kill her. And then, sure enough, right when I saw the Green Goblin swoop in, and the second I saw them at the clock tower, I was like, this is where it's fucking going down.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened. And it's pulled right out of comic books. Of course, Green Goblin looks a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely doesn't look like the rubber suit Goblin, purple hat, purple leotard type thing, but, it's pretty much pulled right from the comic book exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the most iconic covers, one of the most iconic comic books ever.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man holding Gwen Stacy's body in his arms with his fist raised up in the air, screaming because the Green Goblin killed her, but the Green Goblin is the reason why Spider-Man killed her.
Mm-hmm.
Because he couldn't save her in time.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard me sighing a few times because I was choking up because it's a powerful moment. I mean, when Peter's holding her in his arms and he's just gut wrenching, crying and screaming, and he first picks her up and says, "Gwen, wake up, Gwen, no, wake up, no, Gwen." It's just like, oh my fucking god.
There's nothing really in movies right now that I can think that relates to the scene at all in any way. This is definitely a unique scene. Because though we've seen people die, it's never felt like this.
Sure.
Even Uncle Ben dying wasn't even as sad as this, in my opinion.
Sure, yeah.
Because, we didn't see him get shot. I mean, sure we did in, a flashback. But, when he got shot in that moment, we didn't see it. But Gwen Stacy saw everything.
Yeah.
God damn, makes me so mad.
Since it is the final movie in this series, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get the third one. I felt like it would have pushed Peter over the edge, like it did.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it towards he finally, we don't know how long he's gone as Spider-Man.
I think they said 5 months.
Okay. So he's been gone for quite a while. And, Electro is dead or at least disappeared. Green Goblin...
He pretty much just evaporated.
Green Goblin is, rehabilitated to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But still very angry, still sick with this goblin disease. But Peter's gone, he's pushed over the edge, and I would have loved to see him, take care of the Green Goblin and fight his best friend, or his childhood best friend, and, fight the Rhino. We were going to see the Vulture, Doc Ock, because we saw all the Oscorp stuff. We saw the arms. We saw the wings.
Mm-hmm.
We know the Rhino. Venom was also going to be in it because you see the symbiote bouncing around the room. So I was looking for. I'm still looking forward to that because I hope we fucking see it one day.
Yeah, they could definitely pull it off in the Homecoming series.
Yeah, because I think that's what they're going to lead up to. I feel like we're in the next one. This is
Except
going
Venom.
off.
They can't pull Venom because Sony.
But I feel like the next movie, this is my personal opinion, they're going to use Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
as the main villain, but I feel like that's gonna also have a few other cameos from other villains, maybe Vulture, maybe Kraven, maybe like Mysterio or something. Maybe even they're trying, like, the next one is definitely gonna have villains that have never been used, or established villains like Shocker and Vulture. But when it comes to Sinister Six, I would love to see like a Green Goblin. I would love to see a Doc Ock, but we'll see what they do. But anyway, continuing with the movie. I also thought it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. You know, I'm finding out that I think I just love Spider-Man.
Well, obviously.
Obviously, since he's my favorite Marvel superhero. And I feel like, you know, going back and watching his movies that, you know, so many people have just hated, I go back and I'm like, I can see there's some reasons why they're just not great, but it's Spider-Man. I just love Spider-Man. And Andrew Garfield, like, so far has been my favorite Spider-Man. And Gwen Stacy is awesome, and his fight sequences are awesome. He's super funny. He's super witty.
This one definitely has more of that Marvel humor than the first series.
Yeah, I just love seeing him. Like, you see this whole scene go down in Times Square, and then, you know, Spider-Man is gone. Everyone's looking for him, and all of a sudden he shows up in a fucking fireman hat.
Yeah.
And a hose. It's just like, there it is. That's awesome. That's exactly what he'd do. And one thing I love about this movie also is they used a lot of practical effects and practical stunts. Like, they want to minimize as much Spider-Man CGI as they could. So they built sets, they built rigs, and they had either Andrew or his stunt doubles perform these amazing stunts to make it look more realistic, to make it feel like there's actually a real Spider-Man. And you can tell, there's tons of scenes in this movie, you're like the whole entire background CGI, but that's fucking Spider-Man swinging around and jumping around. That's fucking awesome. So, I mean, there are a lot of really good scenes in this movie. Now, when it comes down to Electro, Jimmy Fox as Electro, I have mixed feelings with. I don't think he's terrible, but I don't really feel much towards him. I don't really feel much towards any of the villains in this movie. I felt a lot for Peter and Gwen. And just, you know, if there's a fight sequence that went down, I wasn't focusing on the villain, I was focusing on Pete and what he was doing, because that was cool. Green Goblin, I like his suit, I like his glider, I think the nasty makeup, I don't like that. I don't think the makeup for the Goblin looked good, like his like rotted out teeth and, you know, blotchy green skin.
His diseased look.
Yeah, his diseased look. I don't think that was necessarily great, but I love that like, the earpieces that are drilled into his head are like pointed to make it look like goblin-y.
Yeah.
I like his suit, and I like it has a purpose. I like that they gave the Goblin disease. I like that they gave. I like that it's not like a serum; it's more of a disease that runs in the Osborn family. I think that's kind of a cool idea, and having it be hereditary was kind of cool. But when it comes to the Green Goblin in general, he just felt kind of underwhelming because you didn't really see much of him. Him as Harry Osborn, I can't remember the kid's name, but, you know, I liked him in Chronicle, so I enjoy him as an actor. And I thought he was okay as Harry Osborn. You know, he had this kind of, like, you know, rich boy, cocky, but also kind of, you know, weak. Like, he you know, he wants to be this strong character, he wants to be this cocky guy, but he's also, you know, he's also this young kid that really doesn't know much. So I think he played that fairly well. You know, Aunt May, I still love Aunt May. I still love this Aunt May. So far, until I see the new Aunt May, this one's my favorite. Because it just feels more like somebody that, like, I know. Like, I know that person. I feel like I know her. And, you know, I think it just shows through her acting. There's just lots of really good scenes in this movie. It comes down to, like, the small stuff. that you're not really expecting. I mean, there are a few scenes like here and there that are just like unnecessary, and there are some like plot points that sure could have been shifted around, um, or not drawn out as much. And when it comes to character development, when it comes to the villains, some were some were underdeveloped. Some, the development was maybe a little too much. Maybe we didn't need as much of them, like you said, like the Green Goblin. Even though we didn't see much of him, maybe it could have just been like a really small cameo. Rhino, maybe it's just like at the beginning you just see him and you're like, oh, that's the Rhino.
Yeah, they could have used it like they could have had them around to set them up. They didn't need to set them up as much.
Yeah. So, but I still had a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
I still enjoy it. Like, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I really, really enjoy. They're ones that I can rewatch, like, over and over again, and I don't really get tired of them. Like, already this year, I've seen The Amazing Spider-Man 3 times. And it's just because it's one of those movies that if I'm not really feeling anything, I'm feeling The Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And I can pop it in and watch it. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the hell out of it. And this one too. It's another movie that I'm glad that I now own and that I can watch it because I'll be watching this one often. I'm kind of at the point where, like right now, where it's only been a couple hours, I kind of want to watch it again. I don't know why. I just feel like I want to watch it again. But yeah, it's not perfect. It's definitely, not a movie that's for everyone, and I can see why that, but as a Spider-Man fan, and as a fan of Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, I enjoy the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just my personal opinion. It doesn't have to match with anyone else. I'm sure there are way more Tobey Maguire fans than there are, Andrew Garfield fans, but it just so happens that, I'm sorry, but Andrew Garfield is my preferred Spider-Man.
Until we see Tom Holland.
Until we see Tom Holland. But, Tobey Maguire will always be my Spider-Man. He was my first.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not my favorite. But,
so,
I still enjoy them both.
Mm-hmm. So on to ratings and recommendations?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I will give The Amazing Spider-Man 2 a 7.8.
I think I'll take it just a titch lower and give it a 7.5. And do you recommend?
Okay. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, if you're in the mood to watch a Spider-Man movie, this is not a bad pick. So that's 2 thumbs up. Any final thoughts?
I really just want to see a fucking Sinister Six movie.
Yeah, that'd be great.
They need to get it past just the idea.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully all Spider-Man movies moving forward are good in quality, including the Sony ones that they're still making, the separate from Marvel, which is still real dumb, but hopefully those are good as well, because these characters are real fun. So, with that, guys, thank you all for watching. Let us know down below, what did you think of The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Sweet.